So, to re-summarize, objective function is the same objective function whether it is state space MPC or finite step response MPC. Okay. Some of you may see this written as r minus y tilde p, exactly the same, right. A minus b squared is same as b minus a squared. Okay, there's no negative sign here or there also. Okay, just because I used yp minus r, I have just kept yp minus r. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. As soon as you said tilde, I realized it. Yeah. Okay. Now, quadratic objective is not the only option. Okay. You do have multiple options. Okay. One option is, let us say, instead of having this as a set point, you have a trajectory set point. We have already talked about this. Okay. And let us say, okay, in which case minimizing this would be an objective. That is one option, that is trajectory. So, production maximization or cost minimization. Is a linear programming problem. Okay, phi y would be kind of a cost function. So, for example, let us say your y's are concentration of product, concentration of reactant, concentration of product, temperature, right. Your weight, you would want it to be the dollar amount or the price of the product multiplied by concentration of the product, 0 multiplied by concentration of reactant, 0 multiplied by temperature, 0 multiplied by temperature. So, you will have cost 0 0 0, cost 0 0 0, cost 0 0 0, cost 0 0 0. So, you will have cost multiplied by yk plus 1 plus cost or whatever, profit multiplied by yk plus 1 plus profit multiplied by yk plus 2 plus profit multiplied by yk plus 3 up to k plus p. That is an example of a linear programming problem. Your third option is, this is what Honeywell uses, and that is known as a funnel approach. Okay. Let us say this is your set point, this is where you currently are. Okay. So, what they will do, they will design a funnel like this. Okay. So, let us say your trajectory goes like this. As long as your trajectory is in the funnel, it is fine. As soon as the trajectory goes outside the funnel, you incur a cost. Okay. That is one more approach people use. Okay. So, there is no reason for you to necessarily choose one over the other, but there are other approaches. So, kind of so, your aim is not a set point, but a band. Okay. So, let us say this is how your output trajectory is. You are only going to get penalized for this. Okay. Set point tracking and this penalty approach are typically more common in continuous systems. Trajectory tracking is common in semi-batch type of systems. Okay. For example, when I was working for one of the companies, one of the products that we had exactly used penalty approach. Why? Because you required productivity in a certain range. You required productivity in the value of say 90 to 110. So, as long as it is between 90 and 110, that is fine. So, you do not have one set point, but you have a band of set point, and once you go outside of that band, only then you get penalized. Okay. So, that is about the objective function. Let us not worry about the other objective functions. The objective functions that is of interest to us is this particular one. Yeah. Yep. This is all sum of square errors except to, sorry? Yes, you can use. The problem with sum of absolute errors is basically it becomes non-differentiable at error equal to 0. It is continuous but non-differentiable, right? That is all. It square just smoothens it out. Okay. So, I do not know of any commercial vendor that uses sum of absolute errors. I mean, yeah, people could use it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, could be used. Okay. So, how we are going to write our J is we are going to write this as SU transpose gamma Y SU plus gamma U as the Hessian. Okay, I don't remember this off the top of my head. Think it could be something like this, SU gamma Y and yeah, this would be something like I don't know, M Y tilde plus SU no plus SD plus IEP minus R, something like this. Okay, look up the notes. Don't rely on this. I'm doing this from kind of a quick derivation from memory. Okay, and that's how you write this. First term Hessian, second term gradient. Okay. Next is your constraints. And constraints, irrespective of which method it is, you are going to write this in the exact same manner, and that is going to be yeah. We are not talked about output constraints, but if it is output constraints, you will have to incorporate that as well. Okay. Implementation is also common between the two, is solve a quadratic programming problem. Okay. In MATLAB, the command is quadprog. Okay. If you use MPC toolbox, it uses the quadprog itself. If you are writing your own codes, you may want to look at more efficient quadratic programming solvers. As somebody was asking in the previous class, this has a very sparse structure. Yes, because it has a sparse structures, there would be efficient optimization solvers that might be available in the market. You should use that. IPOpt is one of the examples of the optimization solvers. There are various suites that are available that can do a very good job of quadratic programming problem. Okay, and after implementing, you need to do the state update. State update is where the two are going to differ. Okay. Again, your k hat will be determined through some particular means. If for example, it is some kind of an observer such as a pole placement or a Leuenberger observer, you will determine k based on the observer poles. If you are using an optimal observer such as Kalman filter, k would be Kalman gain, so on and so forth. Okay. You did not understand it, perfectly fine. This is what we are going to do in the module after next. Next module, we will go back to state space systems, analyze the state space systems. After that, we will do estimation. After that, linear quadratic control. Okay. Cool. So, we stop over here. This was basically just a recap of the step response MPC, the DMC algorithm, and parallels between DMC and state space. Hopefully, this would be sufficient for you to do your projects. Project will be up in a day or two, and I will see you in tomorrow's class. We will move on to the next module tomorrow.